Greetings and welcome to the Executive Strategies podcast. Today we have a very special podcast guest with us, Matias,
Matias.
basically from Argentina and right now working in the United States. He is a professor, SaaS products and AI technology expert, and is a digital marketer as well. So today we will learn from his experiences how he get to this level and what are his future goals, what are the blunders have he has experienced in all his journey. So thank you so much, Matthias, for joining our podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure being here.
Matthias, first of all, please share with us where were you, what happened, who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you're doing today.
Okay. Well, basically, I have a background of mostly marketing. I work in different agencies and companies. In the last 10 years, I built a digital marketing agency back in Argentina. And 2 years ago, I moved to the US. And this year, I started a new product. It's called Rackoot, which is a SaaS product. And it's focused on organization and collaboration. So this is a little bit of my work background. I'm also a university professor. I teach at different universities back in Buenos Aires, specializing in marketing and analytics. And well, I have an MBA, and I've been doing. I like to study and learn things all over. So I have a lot of little courses that I did everywhere, everywhere I could.
Right, wonderful. So what are your immediate plans to your Rackoot business? That's a SaaS product and you're helping like businesses and people to manage up the whole, like bookmark the things that, they like. Yes, exactly. So what are your future goals to grow your business?
Well, we just started with the project. We started with my co-founder Ignacio uh, only 3 months ago, and it's moving quite fast. So far, we are in a state where we are reaching product market fit. We have surprisingly a lot of users that are kind of fans for Raccoot. So it's amazing to have them, and we learn a lot from them. We are at that stage now. The product is at this point is completely free. Anyone can use it.
Yes.
We plan to launch a version, a pro version in the future, but so far there is always going to be a free version for everyone to use. And one of the things that we are working on is try to figure out if at this point we can grow the product organically and bootstrap ourselves, or if we need to start searching for an investment round. I think we are at this stage where we are willing to grow much faster than we are doing right now.
Right,
Even when
wonderful.
we did a lot of things pretty fast because we launched the product and tested and everything within 3 months, which is a very good timeline. And well, basically we want to move forward even faster.
Wonderful. So
So
you're again using the word faster. You're fastly going. So what's the mode
yeah,
of marketing actually there?
yeah. Well, uh, basically we try to work fast in different aspects. One is marketing. We
Okay.
try to build a tool that is completely optimized for marketing. So everything that we thought in the product is something that is 100 compatible within marketing strategies. We made a tool that you can share with other people, invite other people to visit your what we call Rackoots, your dashboards, and that will help us to grow and to reach every time
Right.
more people.
My main question on this was how do you promote your product? Like through advertising model, through SEO, or what's exactly you're doing?
So far, it's 100% organic.
Oh,
We are,
wonderful.
yeah, we're not investing in media or advertising yet, even when we have a strong background on that,
Right.
because we know that you need to, well, if you do that too early, you're kind of wasting your money. So we need to make sure that we have the right amount of retention rates and everything in order to move forward. Otherwise, if you bring people inside and they are not going to remain, so basically we are more focused on trying to get the people who join to stay, and then moving forward on getting more people and adding media plans and or media investment or everything.
Oh, nice, that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. I will come to on this organic things because the chat GPT is also rolling out that now the GPT-4 is also coming in the industry. So I will come forward to this. So please share what are the three actionable steps that others can get as a cheat sheet and implement right now to grow their businesses gradually.
Okay, let me try to see if I understood the question right. Some of the things that we do organically is basically we work in different communities. Communities are one of the main sources for traffic and or traction. I'm involved in personally in different communities, and I try to push the product in a way that is not invasive. What I try to do is try to provide service to the communities by, like, for example, setting up Rackoots with information that is valuable to the community. Like, for example, for a community for startup owners, I build like a set of tools that startup can use. So it's a useful content, and I try to do that on every type of community. The other thing is we work with some sort of influencers, and we try to leverage on social media with that. We're just starting with that as a very basic approach so far. And the other thing that we do is we work with media. We got, well, this is not something that we do, we did on purpose, but it happened. One of the main sources of our traffic, it's people who actually use the tool, and they were bloggers, and they started writing things about the tool. So that blog post start providing us users from different places.
Right.
Yeah.
So the professor, actually the question was a bit different. I was asking for
Oh,
the three
sorry.
action. The professor is a professor-like question that what are the three actionable steps that others can get as a cheat sheet and implement right now in their businesses to grow their businesses gradually in the digital marketing domain? What are those
Okay.
three?
Yeah, I will assume that they're not so different to what we are doing. Uh, Basically, I think that one of the excels is probably the community interaction and bringing value. Yeah. This had to be, when you try to grow organically, one of the things that you have to have in mind is that it has to be a trade-off. You have to give something to get something. So it's worthless if you try to spam or whatever. That usually don't work. But if you find a way to add value to a community, or to add value to a set of target users, that's a completely different thing. If you solve a problem and you give value and you add value to them, you can get a word of mouth movement, and people get into your product organically very fast. And that's one of the key things that I always suggest. Of course, once you reach a level where users are staying, paid media is important, but because you are kind of getting the right amount of people. Sometimes organic is good, but it's not good enough. You need to boost it up with media and some other things. So media is a key thing as well. And I think that the one of the stars in the last few years is influencers marketing. But this is something that is like a sword with two edges. When you you have to be very careful about who you work with, what are the objectives that you have, because otherwise you can be wasting your money and wasting your time, or even risking your company. We've seen many cases of even huge companies that failed dramatically in influencers marketing because they didn't know how to deal with it. And but on the other side, we see some great success in some other cases. So basically, I think this is something that you have to do, but only if you are completely aware of what you're doing and you know exactly what you're dealing with.
Nice, nice. That's quite helpful. Thank you so much. Professor, as a most toughest question of the podcast, what is the single most failure you call from your professional life? What was lesson learned, and how did you recover from it?
Wow, I had many failures. this is this is my fifth startup, and I think that probably the worst failure was my last one. Uh, it was well, I failed in many aspects, and basically, I think that I didn't have the right team there. There were individually they were great people, but as a team, it wasn't working. So that was a problem. I didn't have the right product, and I was forcing to believe that the product was right. I was tackling a huge problem on which was marketing for small businesses, which is still a huge problem and it's a huge pain. But I couldn't find a way in which the users, the ones that were going to pay for the service, were getting what they were expecting. And I didn't realize that they were unable to do what I was expecting to do. Like, for example, I was providing leads to many people, and I didn't realize that they don't know what to do with leads. They don't
Oh
know
my
how to close a
goodness.
sale.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so, yeah, that was a huge thing, a huge impact. Uh, so I was okay, but I'm doing my work. I'm providing leads. It's not just clicks, or it's not just whatever. You have the name, you have the contact, you have everything, but they don't know how to deal with it. So it was like, oh, it was very frustrating. So I took all of the learnings that I had in that project that I closed last year. And when I started Rackoot, it was like, okay, this product has to, you can try, you have to be able to try it for free. You have to be able to share it with some people. You have to be able uh, to use it. You have to have a high profit margin. In the previous project, if I get, I don't know, $100 from a customer, which is a lot of money, uh, around 80 to 90% of that money went to Google and Facebook, and I only got $10 or something like that. So it wasn't a very good deal. So there were many learnings from there, and it was for me it was like a life-changing thing. It was like, okay, I
Amazing.
need to learn faster.
Perfect. This was a good one. Perfect. Okay, Professor. So ChatGPT is rolling out, like literally killing the industry, and now GPT-4 is coming in the mid of March. So do you think that GPT-4 will take on the industry, the whole organic industry?
No, I don't think that. I think that uh, let me put it in a way. I think it's like every technological revolution. It will fast forward a lot of things. It will save time to a lot of people. Uh, it will be maybe harder for people who are starting in their career because all of the tasks that they were doing, probably some of them are going to be transferred to ChatGPT. Um, it can, for example, things related to copywriting, things related to content generation and everything uh, are going to be different, but there's still the human factor that needs to be put in place. So what I think is that probably a writer will be able to write, I don't know, maybe 10 times what he used to write,
Well, right.
leverage on ChatGPT, but he
Mm.
will still have to check and do the corrections and everything to get the content in the right.
So, quick question. There is a competitor of this product. Jasper in the market. So how do you see both? Will ChatGPT will take over the Jasper as well?
I think that ChatGPT was the one who struck first. So a lot of
Hmm.
people started using it and started understand how it works and everything. Uh, so probably that will give him a lead. That will uh, well, when you're the first one on a market, you're not always you're the ones that is going to keep the leading position, but often give you an advantage on the rest of the players. And a lot of people already know how to use it, how to use your product. So I think that will be the case. I think it's going to be hard, and we know that huge companies are competing into this. So it's not like two independent products that are coming from behind. So they are going to use all of their marketing tactics and resources in order to become the leaders. And this is probably uh, I would say, a difficult scenario in that case, because um, you need to understand where you're standing and how can you take over the competition. So ChatGPT, in my opinion, is going to be leading the market for the next years until uh, the 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 competition gets even or maybe take over.
Even
But
harder.
it's going to be hard. Yeah,
Wonderful, thank you. So, Matthias, I, I won't take much of your time, but the
no problem.
conversation is going very interesting. So, does the AI content really work?
Uh, it's a good question. Uh, it depends. I use ChatGPT for a lot of things, but one of the things that I think is great is, for example, emails. When you well, and let me get another edge. I think there's the difficulty now and the art now is prompting. So you have to be very specific on what you want ChatGPT to write, what type of content or whatever. And if you do it in the right way, you will get beautiful content. If you do it in the wrong way, it will be completely full of crap and things that are not accurate or whatever. So if you give all the information that it needs, the content is quite decent. I've never published something as it is, so it's you always have to take a look at everything, make some changes. In some cases, rephrase everything, but it will give you at least the base where you can start to building your content from. It can give you some content ideas. It can give you some, I don't know, social media calendars or tips. So I think it's a great tool. It's a very useful tool. Uh, but I think that we are not yet in a place where you can 100% trust the content that it comes from it.
Wonderful. So one last question on the SEO and all the content industry. So what, as per my research, what I have done on this, okay, okay, perfect. Okay, as per my research that I have done on this is that the Google Bard and Lambda that is coming, that the prompt failed over the Bard update on the first update, and Google had a huge loss in the industry. But they're not going to stop now. They are still working on it, and they will be improving it up, comparing to the ChatGPT. So, do you think the content industry is going to get squeezed? Like, if we see the behavior on the Chat GPT, like I ask him the Chat GPT to write me a compelling article for like, or write me the ways to write me a compelling article. It will never give you a detailed guide. It will just give you 10 easy steps how to write a article, and those are bullet points. That's surprisingly, and even we as a human, we really don't want to read longer form articles, really,
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
And Google and these big companies work on the behavior. And as per my research, that what Google Bard is doing is Google Bard is doing the same, giving you the bullet points and not showing you the detailed articles. So, what is your recommended practices to all the content writers in the market? What will be the best practice?
Uh, the first thing that I will suggest is start using ChatGPT as a tool, because you have to learn and understand what you're dealing with. And for me, it's a key thing. You cannot just ignore that this tool is there and that is changing everything. The second thing is that learn how to prompt. That's the most important thing, because what you mentioned is correct. But if you actually want a longer article, you can write the right prompt to get the longer article. So it's hard, but it takes more time. You have to feed them a lot more information on what you want and what you expect or whatever, and it will go deeper and give you even more content or whatever. It happened to me, like as I mentioned, I sometimes I use it for emails to for users or investors or whatever. And what I do is I get the first result and I don't like it, so I start rephrasing, reprompting, and until I get something a little more polished, and then I start with that and complete it manually or rearrange it manually. So basically, that's the suggestion that I would have is like learn how to use it, learn how to prompt in the right way, and try to uh, be able to get the right results out of it. The other thing is that, well, the world changed. 10 years ago, content generation was not a thing. Now it's a big thing. Maybe in 10 years from now, it's not a thing anymore.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it's basically it's the thing that, well, that I recommend to everyone, not only content creation, is that in the world as it is today, that it changes every year, every minute, every
Every
second.
single
Yeah,
day.
yeah, every single day. You need to be ready and you need to be flexible.
Exactly.
Like when my parents were young, when you decide what to do, that was what you were going to be doing forever. Nowadays, when you decide what to do, is probably what you'll be doing for the next 5 years and or 10 at most, and then you will have to be doing something else because the world changes extremely fast.
Oh, wonderful. That's a really, the thing to share that what you're doing today, you're doing it for next 5 years. So wonderful. Thank you. Matthias, do you use web stories? I'm just curious on that because I think web stories are also the next performing thing over Google.
Yeah.
Yes?
Sorry, excuse me. I didn't get the question. It was had a noise in between.
Okay. So my question was just curious, are you using the web stories?
No, no, not yet.
Okay, so that's a bit shocking for me. Right, so what are your immediate plans to grow your business?
uh, well, I wouldn't say that we are planning on the go. That what we do is we learn a lot from the market and from users. So we have a kind of a roadmap that everything is changing accordingly on relation to what we see. And for example, when we started building the product, it was something completely different to what we have now. And that's because we figured out that there were some opportunities that we were not seeing at the beginning. And when people started using it, we started saying, okay, the people want this or want that. We're going in that direction. And I believe that one of the things that uh, is kind of our core values is that we're 100% user driven. So our plans are go with the flow of what users needs and everything.
Perfect. So your plans to go with media ads in future or
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, we once we get to the point where it makes sense, we are going to embark in that. Uh, but probably we need to raise some capital before that to be able to
Mhm.
get well funded and push into the right direction.
Right. So, do you have any background with advertising?
Sorry?
Do you have any background with advertising things, media buying?
Oh yeah, yep. As I mentioned, we had a digital marketing agency back in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a team of people who specialize in performance advertising and marketing.
Amazing.
Uh, and yeah,
Perfect. So, thank you so much for the conversation. It was a delightful conversation and amazing to learn from you.
yeah.
So, what would you say about the Executive Strategies podcast when I'm not there?
I I love the podcast. So it's I don't know. It's a great podcast, and it's a great experience to be able to answer your questions. I think you go deep into great interesting things. So I don't know. It's an amazing experience.
Thank you so much, Matthias, for coming on the podcast. What would you say as the final word? And the people who are watching this, how can they support you?
Well, basically, use Rackoot. Rackoot is a great tool. You can use it for free. So and you can listen and share this content and this podcast, which is awesome. And of course, support Mian because he's awesome as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthias, Matthias, the professor. The podcast arrived from Argentina to United States, and we have an amazing conversation today. So much to
Thank you.
learn, and I hope you guys have also enjoyed the podcast. Thank you so much. See you soon on the
Thank you.
next podcast. Bye bye.
Bye bye.